firefighters. Julian Phillips reports on yet another of New York's bravest to pay a high price in the service of others.
Well, we were just talking about the shirts that the captain had bought for all the guys in the ladder company. He had them made up, and he was handing them out individual, to each man assigned to the ladder company. Just, it was like a playoff on the movie and his Wayne Smith. So, he had bought them for all the guys in the firehouse and in the company. It's the kind of guy he was.
It's quite easy to understand why 37-year-old fire captain Wayne Smith was more than just a leader, but one of the boys. While his wife was rushed by helicopter to the Cornell burn unit, fellow firefighters from Ladder Company 136 in Elmhurst, Queens spoke passionately about Smith and the danger they face on a daily basis, not knowing from one day to the next if they might have to pay the ultimate price.
He's a young guy, he's about 6'5", he's a tremendous fireman, gentleman. We just want him to get better.
He's still had so much life ahead of him. Still got a 3-month-old boy at home. He's got so much ahead of him that it's a shame.
Smith, who collapsed and had to be rescued from the 3rd floor of this two-alarm fire in Jackson Heights, is the most severely injured out of 17 firefighters who responded, with 2nd and 3rd degree burns over 40% of his body. But perhaps more life-threatening, internal injuries to his lungs from fire and smoke. But his aide, 31-year-old John Ferring, also remains at New York Hospital Cornell Medical Center with 1st-degree burns to his arms and 2nd-degree burns to his forehead.
He just got off probation, like you said. He was on for a year, and he was doing his thing. He was with the captain's irons man, which means he goes with the captain wherever the captain goes.
Firefighter Stephen Healy, 33 years old, from Rescue Company 4, just around the corner from Ladder Company 136, was also taken to the hospital's burn unit, but was treated and released. While their families and the city waits and prays for their recoveries, so too do the paramedics that responded to the blaze. EMS worker Donna Camera took Captain Smith to the hospital.
I just wanted to tell them our prayers are with them, and that everybody's pulling for him.
Despite the mood, it was business as usual at Ladder Company 136, a house that responds to 5,000 calls a year. It's been a tough year for New York's bravest. 4 have already been killed in the line of duty. And they haven't seen a year like this since 16 years ago when 6 firefighters were killed in a Walbaum's fire in Brooklyn. But to a man, they all say they'll respond to any alarm, even though they think about their friends and family. They say they will respond willingly. In Elmhurst, I'm Julian Phillips for the Channel 11 News at 10.
Right now, a van carrying handicapped people has crashed on 125th Street. We're told 4 people are critically injured. Channel 2 News is live at the scene where Vince Dementri has details for us. Vince?
Actually, Dana, that injury count is up to 14 right now. Let me explain to you exactly what happened. It happened about an hour ago. We're at West 124th Street and Adam Powell Boulevard here in Harlem. As you can see behind me, what used to be a red Buick LeSabre, the whole front is smashed in. And over to the right of me, actually to the right that you're seeing, my left, you can see a van that was traveling eastbound on 124th Street. Now, we understand this from police. That red car was trying to make a caution light and smashed into that van. Inside that van were 11 handicapped children along with a couple of adults. As you can see, it flipped on its roof, it smashed out the windows, and gasoline began to spill. Some people from the area here began to come in and pull some people out along with police. Also EMS crews. Right now with me is Lieutenant Michael Fitton from EMS, who's going to talk about exactly what it was. It must have been a frightening scene, especially having to deal with the mentally handicapped.
Absolutely. It was chaos upon our first arrival. Most of the children of mentally handicapped adults were removed from the van prior to our arrival. I believe maybe area residents took care of that due to the fact that there was gas spilled and there was a potential for further injury due to that. When we got here, they were all quite frightened, and a big part of our job was to comfort them as well as assess their injuries.
Right. Part of the problem with assessing their injuries is that they weren't able to verbalize exactly what was wrong with them.
Exactly. Some were actually autistic, and we were unable to speak to them, and they weren't able to tell us what was wrong with them. We had to go by what we saw and their vital signs.
All right, Lieutenant Michael Fitton from EMS. Everybody here did a super job. We understand all the injured are in serious condition and stable at 3 different area hospitals. Obviously, we'll have more on this story as it develops. Channel 2 News is live here in Harlem. I'm Vince Dementri. Back to you.
Tonight, 3 strangers in Harlem are heroes to a group of mentally challenged children. The men risked their lives rushing to the rescue after the children's bus overturned on a busy street. Channel 2's Vince Dementri has the latest live from Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Vince?
Dana, overall 14 people were injured. Of those, 8 mentally and physically challenged people are still hospitalized tonight. One of those victims is here at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. We're told that none of the injuries, thankfully, is life-threatening. However, I got to tell you, after you see the van that those handicapped people were traveling in, you will shake your head and say it's amazing no one was killed. A cop car tries to clear away what's left of this car. It'll be a long time before anyone involved in this accident in Harlem will forget what happened here tonight.
Oh God, we just said, oh God.
Time is ticking. This is the situation. According to cops, the accident happened right in the middle of rush hour when this van behind me, full of handicapped kids, was traveling eastbound on 124th Street. This red LeSabre behind me, which has its front completely smashed in, was traveling northbound on Adam Powell Boulevard. Now, according to some witnesses, the car tried to beat the light and smashed into the van. When it did, the force of the impact flipped the van on its roof. The people in the car were okay, but 14 people, mostly mentally and physically challenged kids, were trapped, and gasoline was spewing from the van. That's when Henry Lambert, Irvin Garcia, and Daniel Smith rushed to help.
Saw gas flowing from the left side, the right side coming here, and we went out there and started kicking out windows and pulling bodies.
So I told him, I said, let's move it, man, let's go and help, you know.
And the kid was hanging out the window just like a dog, like a rag dog. And so everybody, we ran across there. They kicked out the windows and stuff. And all the gas was pouring out just like water.
I thought it was going to blow.
Thankfully, the van didn't blow. At about this time, EMS was on the scene, and the problems were just beginning.
Some of the people in the vehicle were autistic, unable to speak to us, and unable to relate to us the information that we needed.
Nancy Pankey's 31-year-old sister Brenda was in the van. She has Down syndrome. At Harlem Hospital, Nancy let go a sigh of relief because Brenda, like most of those injured, will be just fine. She's okay.
Yeah, and she said she's hungry, which is wonderful.
Wonderful indeed. Thankfully, as we mentioned earlier, none of the injuries believed to be life-threatening. Police tonight characterized the accident as just that, an accident. No one is expected to be charged, and once again, thankfully, everybody's going to be okay. Channel 2 News is live here in Washington Heights at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. I'm Vince Dementri. Back to you.
All right. It was a scene of chaos initially, and we came on the scene and tried to make the best of the situation and control them and comfort these people due to the fact that they were extremely frightened. We had all the patients. None of them were critical. Some were somewhat serious and potentially unstable, but basically they were extremely frightened, and we were there to comfort them and take them to the area hospital.